who sometimes gets lonely. And I really think you're such a special pony. So let's fly away, we'll go wherever you want. Now I've got you, let me show you what is meant by loyalty. I've seen you before and always looking so lonely. It's so hard to ignore, so come on, won't you be friends? It should be easy to do, because I think you will find I'm not so different from you. They all say there goes a girl who's just as bold as her mate. And boy, oh boy, can she fly, puts every pony to shame. If only deep down inside it didn't feel like a lie. The more attention I get, the more I just want to cry. Talk to me, my name is Rainbow. Could be that you'll find the best of friendship in me. Why don't we take some time, forget your sorrow? Just us until the sun comes up tomorrow. I promise it's not just you who sometimes gets lonely. And I really think you're such a special pony. So let's fly away, we'll go wherever you want. Now I've got you, let me show you what is meant by loyalty. I only act like I do because I'm trying to hide the fact that confidence can be hard to come by at all. And if I look down, I feel like I'm going to fall. This isn't easy for me, but I can see that you're sad, and I just can't pass you by because I feel so bad. I know you don't think I'm kind, that's no fault but my own, but I will give up my wings before I leave you alone. So come on, won't you be friends? It should be easy to do, because I think you will find I'm not so different from you. They all say there goes a girl who's just as bold as her mate. And boy, oh boy, can she fly, puts every pony to shame. If only deep down inside it didn't feel like a lie. The more attention I get, the more I just want to cry.
got nothing to fear. I hope I make it crystal clear. I'm just to get to know you, be your friend. So you can come on over anywhere else is gonna be colder. I guarantee the fun will never end. I guess you know me all too well. I've told you all there is to tell. I'm pretty black and white. I am the day and night, and always ready to ignite. So don't you touch that wire. This is
Mic 1. There we go. Good morning, everyone. How are we all doing this morning? Feeling good? Wide awake, alert, enthusiastic? Yes? I know everyone's up late, checking out the party floor, checking out the concerts. Who had fun at the gala last night? Very nice. All right. Well, we've got quite a bit more left in store for you here on Sunday of Everfree Northwest. We're going to do something really fun today. We're going to do something called Brony Feud. And we're going to get right into it. So we're going to start out by introducing our VIP guests who have decided to join us for this morning. So in no particular order, please welcome to the stage Andy Price, Tom Zoller, Suda, Imalu, Vincent Tong, Peter New, Andrea Libman, Jenna Warren, and Marika Hendricks. Oh, and, all right, we got a surprise as well. Also welcome Kelly Sheridan. All right, we're going to get this thing rolling. I'm going to bring on up the host of Brony Feud. Please welcome all the way from Vancouver, British Columbia, Affinity.
All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Brony Feud. I'll be your host, Affinity, today, and we have a really great group of contestants today. So thank you, everyone, for being here and braving the early morning. This is certainly an early time for this show, but we're going to do and make the best of it as we can. I'm going to give these mics to you guys. You can pass them down. So we'll just have everyone introduce themselves as we go. And everyone knows who everyone is, but we're going to just, whoever wants it, I don't know. So what we're going to do here is we're going to have each of the amazing people on this stage decide whether they like the left side of the stage or the right side of the stage, whichever side you want, and you're going to pick your side. So do that now. Yeah, you're making your teams. So this is how it works. It's very advanced. It's kind of like, playground rules. Who's call you over. All right, so we have 5 versus 5. Okay, we're going to need a team leader for each side. So whoever you think you want to victimize the most, I suppose. Who wants to be the biggest victim? Perfect. It's not really true. The team leader is the one who selects the final answer when you try to steal. You also get to go up on stage. Actually, no, you'll just do it the one time. Yeah. So, all right, Kelly's taking it for. We're gonna call you team left. Your team stage left. Is this stage left? I don't even know anymore.
This is stage right.
Well, your team left anyway. That's how it works.
Oh, wow.
We're trying to keep it simple for our tech team in the back. By the way, big thank you to Linux Pony for filling in and being our tech today. So thank you, Linux. He's doing the thankless job in behind everything. So, all right. So you are now team right, and I see, Peter, you have taken the reins.
That's right, Finn. Thanks so much. We're so excited to be here. Woo! Woo! This is my daughter, Petula. This is my husband, Frank, my other husband, Dino, and my son, Persnickety.
Persnickety has a bit of a face to him. Hey, I wasn't going to say anything, but, it's this thing.
He's been doing a lot of coke.
Oh. That's unfortunate. Well, we're all pulling for Persnickety.
What?
I don't get to do coke, Dad.
Talk to Persnickety. He's a dealer.
So with that absolutely not train wreck of an answer, we're moving on to Team left. So team
There's gotta
left.
be more
let's-
like that
How about
today.
your family? How's your family doing today?
How we doing, fam? Pretty good. I think I'm gonna dub us like Team Estrogen because this is like pretty good. Represent today.
It kind
Not
of
to
is.
make any assumptions, but you know. probably.
Well, that's fantastic. Thank you for being here
Thanks.
today.
I didn't prepare stand-up bits, so that's all I got.
Round of applause for Team Left, everyone. So, for those who have not seen this game before, who has seen Brony Feud, Pony Feud, Family Feud, anything like that? Most of the people in this audience, give yourself a round of applause for having that kind of patience. So if you've seen this before, this is a very, very common theme of a show. We are doing what's called, it's essentially a survey game. So for those of you who haven't seen this, if you've seen Family Feud, which is totally not it, this is a totally original idea and absolutely not original idea, please do not sue us. We're giving you the most recent answers to some questions that we could muster. And that includes probably a lot of you who answered our survey online. All right, thank you very much, everybody. You are the reason we have such terrible answers today. So, remember everyone on stage, these answers are not the most correct answers. They are the most popular answers. So please keep in mind that it is also based on when they were given, which is the survey closed yesterday. I think we accepted answers until about 8 p.m. last night. So, keep that in mind. And by the way, if you're watching, thank you, Greg Digital Dolphin, for putting all those answers together for us. We love you, man. Thank you. So... All right, so with that in mind, we need to bring up the first contestants, which will be the not the team leaders, but someone else. And if the team leaders could please come up to the front here. You're already there. Good job, Peter. You didn't even know you were following directions.
I've seen this show.
All right. Yes, so please, let's bring up Vincent. Come on up. We're going to have you versus Andrea on the first face-off of the game. Some real sportsmanship going on here. Is that what we call it? Maybe lack of. I think that's probably it. So what we're going to do is whoever hits the table first is essentially what we're doing. I know it's boring. I'm sorry. We tried to find squeakers. It didn't work out. Okay. So what I would like you to do is have your hand behind your back. That's what we're going to do. No, just one. Whatever hand you're going to buzz with. Doesn't matter. There you go. Vincent has it. Here we go. Round number 1. Top 6 answers are on the board. This is single points. Name a popular MLP G5 character. That's team left, yeah. And I think, we do have audio. Perfect. All right.
It's a little
All right,
delayed.
Andrea, and actually, okay, yeah, I'll just do this. Name a popular MLP G5 character.
Izzy.
Izzy Moonbow. Seems like a good answer. Let's see Izzy. Taking a look. There she is, number 1. Now,
Very
Now,
nice.
hold on.
Yes, yes.
before
Very
we
good.
decide anything, do you want to play this round or pass it to the other team and try to steal it?
We're going to play.
All right, they're going to play. So we're going to go,
That was
if you could
great.
go to the end of the line there, Andrea, we're going to go down the line here to, hello, to you. Yes, to you. And is the mic working? I guess it is
I
working.
think so.
Okay, it looks like it's working.
Is
So
it
same
working?
question to you. Name a popular MLP G5 character.
Zip.
Zip. How about Zip? Let's see Zip. There she is, Zip Storm. Just rocking it out of the park so
Nailing
far,
it.
ladies. Okay, to Marika. No, Marika. I'll say it however I want. That's how. No, you're going to correct me, and you should. Okay, name a popular MLP G5 character.
Pip.
How about Pip? She's large and in charge. Where's Pip? There she is, Pip
Oh,
Petals.
Very nice.
So down the list, but still on the board. So no strikes, doing really well here. So you should know this one quite well, I would hope anyway. Name a popular MLP G5 character, Jenna.
I'm gonna go with Sunny.
Really? What a surprise! Let's see Sunny. There she is, number 3. So she's up there. She's up there. All right. Same question. How are you doing, Kelly?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good, good. Okay,
Great.
so you've got your own mic. So name a popular MLP G5 character.
I'm gonna go with Hitch.
Hitch.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see Hitch. There he is. And there's one more answer. Now it gets a little trickier because you never know what's up there. There might be a few others. Who knows? Name a popular MLP G5 character, Andrea.
Sprout.
Sprout. His mother loves him. At least he thinks he does. Let's see Sprout. And a clean sweep for Team Left. Congratulations, Team Left. You didn't even get a chance to steal. They're just too good.
No, and we had all those names.
Oh, yeah.
We totally knew it. Yeah.
Well, hopefully you'll get a chance in the next round. But
Yeah.
let's move on. Let's give those points to Team Left first of all. So we'll give those points out. There they are. They got the full 100 points. And let's go to round number 2. That's my round number 2. There we go. Okay, we have Jenna versus Andy Price.
Yeah, that one.
We have the top 7 answers on the board this time. By all means, use the microphone, everybody. Everyone wants to hear from you, not me. So by all means, start talking. I don't care. You're welcome to share.
I'm just tired.
It is early. It is early.
May have more of this.
Okay, so moving on. Top 7 answers on the board. We asked a bunch of bronies this question. We're looking for the most popular answer to this. Name an item that Fluttershy would bring to a party.
Angel Bunny.
Angel Bunny. I think it's a good answer. Let's see. We're already losing the table. It's the second round. Come on, Andy. Wait a little while at least. Okay. Angel Bunny. Got a page down. No, you don't left or right. Don't worry about it. Just hit page down, and we'll go to the next, and then you reveal or strike. Angel Bunny. Looking for him. Let's see if he's there. Hey, he hopped on in there.
Very
But
nice,
it's not.
very nice.
It is not
He
the
was
most popular answer, which means you still have a chance to do better. Can you do better than that? Name an item that Fluttershy would bring to a party. Oh, it's just your answer. That's the V. Yeah, that's a strike
There it is.
there. Okay, that's fine. So you have the choice here, Andy. Would you like to
She
play
doesn't
this
go to a
round or
lot of
pass it to
parties.
them?
We're going to play, yeah.
You're gonna play.
We'll play.
They're-
We'll
they're-
play, please, Alex.
They're going to play. All right.
Thank you, Steve.
So we'll go down. So Vincent, you've already gone, so let's go this way. Tom, name an item that Fluttershy would bring to a party.
Well, if Angel is an item, I'm going to say Discord.
Discord. He's howling at the moon. He's coming to all the parties that is in the afternoon. Let's see Discord. No. A good answer, but not on the survey. So let's see if we can do a better one this time. Name an item that Fluttershy would bring to a party.
Tea.
Tea?
Good answer. Good answer.
How
Good
about some
answer.
tea? She likes
answer.
that. There it is. Number 1 answer. Suka doing it.
Nice.
All right. So Suta is getting the first answer. Let's see if you can do this. You have your own mic, so I don't have to do
I
anything.
do.
All right. Name an item that Fluttershy would bring to a party.
Biscuits.
Biscuits.
I have no idea.
Sure. Biscuits.
That's what I think.
How about some biscuits? Yes,
Food. Yeah.
Food. It's generic. That's judge's call. The judge does make some calls sometimes.
I thought I was wrong. That's
Remember, ladies, you may have a chance to steal here. So talk amongst yourselves. See if you can come up with
we
some
are.
answers. Okay.
We
Just be
are.
careful with that
We've
mic.
got an expert here. So.
Okay, Vincent. Same question to you. Name an item that Fluttershy would bring to a party.
Who's Fluttershy?
So Andy, what do you think?
Fluttershy. She would bring a blanket.
A blanket.
Yeah, good answer. Good answer.
Good
Blanket.
answer. A blanket. There's some discussion, deliberation. There's no. In the end, it did not make the survey. Okay, Andy, back to you. Name an item. 2 strikes here, so no pressure, but they might have a chance to steal if they get an answer and you do not get one here. Let's see. Name an item that Fluttershy would bring to a party. And it is a tough one. Remember, the theme this year for our con is, of course, party, because we're celebrating 10 years. So that's why a lot of our questions are party related.
Her bear.
Her bear. All right. She brings her bear. She might need a back massage. Who knows? I don't know. Let's see bear. Animals.
There it is.
Gets the generic one. So there you go. A lot of questions, by the way, are summarized together on some answers. So that's why we can give them to you. So name an item that Fluttershy would bring to a party, Tom.
Back to me. Flowers.
Flowers. How about flowers?
Good answer,
There they
good
are.
answer,
Hey,
good answer.
you're keeping them alive. On by a string here. So Suta, no pressure, but all the pressure. Name an item that Fluttershy would bring to a party.
No, it's not Izzy. Izzy. Cocaine. No.
You didn't get nearly this much time.
Her anime puppets.
Her anime puppets is what I heard. Okay. Her puppets.
Hey,
Let's see. How about puppets? Entertainment. No.
Wow.
Believe it or not, it wasn't up there. I don't know how that's possible, but that's fine. We're going to go down the list. We're going to go this way. So if you could just quickly kind of give me an answer. What do you think Fluttershy, Miss Fluttershy, would bring to a party?
Her knitting.
Gifts.
Gifts?
Oh, I thought we were only giving one. Ice cream?
Do you say gifts already? I said ice cream. Oh, a picnic blanket, maybe for the tea.
Friends.
Friends?
That's a good
Okay,
one.
so you've got some great answers to choose from there. So, sorry, who was team leader again? You're team leader. No.
I
Yes.
am.
Okay, so you have some great
think.
answers there. So you have to make a decision on what answer you're going with, either one
Okay.
of those ones or your own.
I know which one.
Okay,
I'm going to
so
go for knitting.
going with knitting
Yeah.
for the steal. Knitting. No, not enough to steal, which means Team Right keeps their points. Team Right keeps their points. So Team Right gets the all 68 points. There they are. 68 points. So audience, what do you think was up there, audience? Yell it out. Friends. Friends, not. Okay. Earplugs.
Okay.
And
Pet
pet treats.
Of course.
All right. Moving on to round number 3.
Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Okay. We have Tom and we have Marika. And they are up. Marika, I'm going to say it wrong every time. I'm so sorry. I don't know why. Anything at them? Marika. And how many times have we met? Like, seriously, I got to get this right one day. Okay.
Rhymes with Jamaica.
There you go. Okay. Top 7 answers are on the board. We asked a bunch of bronies this question. Name a famous couple as seen in MLP Friendship is Magic. Okay.
In the movie?
Fluttershy and Pinkie Pie?
Fluttershy and Pinkie Pie. Sure. Okay. Fluttershy and Pinkie Pie being a couple is, that's okay. It is now canon. Okay. It is. Absolutely. I don't know if they'd be seen as a couple, but let's see. Fluttershy and Pinkie Pie. No, didn't make it. Okay, name a famous couple as seen in MLP Friendship is Magic.
Cheese sandwich and Pinkie Pie.
Cheese sandwich and Pinkie Pie. I think that's what you're going for, right? Oh, not at all. Okay, well, in this case, let's see if Tom got it. Cheese sandwich and Pinkie Pie. What? Oh, are you sure? Wow, okay. You know what? again, this is just an example. If you don't like the questions on our answers, next time fill out the survey. But yeah, so come on back to your teams, and we're gonna go down the list, and it seems like everyone's cheating, but that's okay. We're gonna allow it. Everyone is cheating. Who is next in line? Who is next in line?
Leah, I think?
Sure.
I think so.
So same question. Name a famous couple as seen in MLP Friendship is Magic.
Applejack and Rainbow Dash.
Applejack and Rainbow Dash. Controversial, never confirmed, but nonetheless, let's see if it's up there. No. And you're going to want to hit the single strike on that one, Linux, or that's going to lock the score. There you go. Okay. Just stick to the V on this one for now. All right, same question. They answered Rainbow Dash and Applejack. So, a famous couple as seen.
Lyra and Bonbon.
Lyra and Bonbon. The audience was screaming that one in their heads this whole time. Lyra and Bonbon.
We'll play.
They're playing, and they're playing. All right. We're going to go down the list. Who's next? Who am I missing here? Yeah, I think it was you, Peter. Okay. Name a famous couple as seen in Friendship is Magic.
Big Mac and Sugar Bell.
Yeah. He might know a thing or two about this. Big Mac and Sugar Bell. There they are.
All right. Thank you.
They are. Coming down the list. Okay, we'll go this way. Sure. You'd steal his mic.
I didn't know I was right.
Yeah. Name a famous couple as seen in MLP.
Applejack's parents.
Applejack's parents. So that'd be Pear Butter and Bright Mac, right? All right. Pear Butter, Bright Mac. There they are. Name a famous couple as seen in MLP.
I'm going to go back to my normal. Fluttershy and Discord.
Fluttershy and Discord. Let's see if he's howling at the tea party. There he is. Barely made the survey, but did make it. Okay. No strikes. Doing really well. Andy, same question. Famous couple in MLP, Friendship is Magic.
Cadence and Shining Armor.
Cadence and Shining Armor. There they are. Ooh, man, you guys have a chance at a clean sweep on this one. Let's
Clean
see.
sweep. Here we go.
All right, here we go. Same question.
Persnickety's on the mic. Got the answer. You know what's coming. Ask me the question.
Name a famous couple as seen in MLP.
You know who it is. Flash Century and Twilight Sparkle. Number one answer. Wah, wah, wah. Number one on the board. Check it out. Wah, wah, wah.
Waifu Stealer.
Woo! Woo!
Is he up there?
Woo!
No, he is not. And just a little quick thank you to everybody who answered the survey. Vince, all right, same question. Name a famous couple as seen in MLP.
Big Mac and Cheerilee.
Big Mac and Cheerilee. It certainly happened, didn't it? Let's see Big Mac and Cheerilee. No.
Oh, come on.
This might prove to be a difficult one. Let's see what we got. Suda, what have you got?
Is it Twilight's parents?
Okay. Yeah, absolutely a relationship. So
you can always
couple.
bank on the parents.
Okay, and remember, you're already thinking about it. Okay, here we go.
conspiring.
All right. So this is potentially the last answer. So one more time, what was it?
Twilight's parents.
Twilight's parents. How about Twilight's parents? No, didn't make the survey. I do know for a fact that all of these answers were on the survey, but not enough to make the final list, unfortunately. So, going to go down the list again. You just have one. Well, that makes it easy. So what answer are we going with here?
Jenna, would you do the honors?
Mr. and Mrs. Cake.
Mr. and Mrs. Cake.
Good, that bodes well.
There are lots of couples in the show. Was it good enough for the steal, Mr. and Mrs. Cake? There they are! Enough for the steal for Team Left. Team Left gets the points. They got all 150 points, putting them at 250 versus 68. But that's okay because there's still lots of time and some questions coming up that have lots of answers and lots of extra bonus points.
We're not going to gloat and rub it in because we have class.
All right, audience, who's up there? What is it?
Katie Cook and Andy Price.
Cranky Doodle and Matilda. There we go. First one, which is also a very famous couple. So, all right, moving on to round number 3, number 4.
You got this.
I have never been able to do that. I cannot do that. I don't know. I am completely. Ask my girlfriend. I am the worst dancer ever. Okay. Here comes a very, very topical question. Hand behind your back, please. Thank you. This is a very topical question, and remember, these answers closed yesterday. That might be relevant to your answer. So, we asked a bunch of bronies this question. Top 10 answers on the board. Lots of answers. Who is best pony? And that would be, you just hurt your hand, I hope. I hope not too much. Team Right got that one. Okay, who is best pony?
Rarity.
Rarity. Let's see. some competition here. Let's see Rarity. Looking. Double check that one. I'm pretty sure she is up there.
Yeah!
I think that might have been a mistake. Are you sure?
No, they checked. The experts are on it.
No, you know what? Every once in a while, you'll get one of the main 6 that doesn't make it. I'm so sorry, Rarity fans, but actually, I think that might be true now that I think about it. She might not have made the survey this time. So again, if you don't like the answers, fill out the survey. All right. So Rarity wasn't up there, but that means I have to go back to... Wait, no, Suda gave that answer. And what was your answer?
Pinkie Pie.
Pinkie Pie! How about that party pony herself? There she is, and that is better than not. Andrew is offended, everybody. You know, remember, most of these questions... Our party ambassador has left us. Okay.
Fun! Yeah!
All right.
It's only because all the other characters you played are 1, 2, 3, and 4.
That's true.
Clearly.
Are we playing or passing this round?
Another one?
Do you want to play it or pass it to them and try to steal?
Oh, we'll play. We're playing.
Play?
Okay, they're playing. Okay, yeah. Okay. Going on the line, let's see. Who is best pony?
Princess Celestia.
Princess Celestia.
Very good.
This is a very topical question, so this might be quick. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Celestia. No, and that was strike 1, by the way. That was strike 1, not 2, but that's fine. Okay, again, this is all based on what you answered, so it could be anyone's guess. Who is best pony?
I'm going to go for Rainbow Dash.
Let's try Rainbow Dash. She's my favorite.
I think of these.
Let's see Rainbow Dash. There she is. Pinkie Pie beat Rainbow Dash, though. It happens. We've had everybody be at number 1 on this one, too. This is like literally, anyways, we'll see where it ends up. Who's best pony?
Fluttershy.
Fluttershy. Fluttershy fans in the audience? There you are. Let's see Fluttershy. There she is, moving up the list. Not quite number 1, but we've still got 3 ahead for some reason. Andrea, who else do you think is up there?
Luna?
Luna. Oh, a few people are very excited about that answer. Let's see Luna. There she is. She's there. Yeah?
Oh my god, I have to choose Applejack.
Applejack. Let's see some country love from Applejack. There she is. She's up there. Who's best pony?
Twilight Sparkle.
Twilight Sparkle. I've heard of her before. Let's see if she's up there. There she is, number 1. Which in my history is only the 2nd time she's been number 1, actually. So that's interesting. All right, who are we going for?
Are these specifically for Friendship is Magic?
There's not, just says who is best pony, so it's whatever people answered.
Okay, I'm going to go for Izzy.
Izzy.
Yeah.
Okay. How about some Izzy? No. Doesn't mean
very
there aren't.
popular.
Yeah,
She's
she
very
could be on there. I mean, there could be a fan character up there. Who knows?
Oh,
This is a
wow.
very generic
Whoa.
question.
Oh boy, that's a
Little
deep
bit
cut.
of a tip. I don't know that though. I'm not saying that for sure. You are so sneaky. I know, right? Who's best pony?
Maud?
How about Maud? No, didn't make the survey. I think she was up there, but she didn't make the survey, unfortunately. Okay, so there's lots of questions, lots of answers up there. 4 answers you could potentially go. I'm going to go down the list here. Vincent, who's up there? Who's best pony?
You know what I'm gonna say. Persnickety's favorite. Flash Sentry.
Trixie.
Trixie.
Leadwing.
Leadwing. Leadwing is Andy Price.
Derpy hooves.
Derpy Hooves.
I'm going to just, based on the audience response, Derpy. Let's go Derpy.
That's a good reason to do it, absolutely. Is Derpy up there, audience? What do you think? Is she up there? For 124 points, Derpy Hooves. There she is, number 2. That means Team Right gets all 124 points that you worked so hard to get. You should all be very angry and want to beat them up. Yes. All right, let's see what else is up there. What's number 3? Starlight Glimmer. Who's that?
That's. Well, thanks, I guess.
And hit
Oh,
page
my
down to get to
goodness.
the next one, Linux. And number 9. Sunny Star Scout.
Oh,
I
we were
was
so
waiting for you
close.
to give it and you didn't. I was like, okay. How about number 10? Yes. Yes. So once again, it's not always the most accurate answers. It's what's given that we put up there. So yes being all of them. Anyways, let's move on to the next round, round number 5.
Who's up? Is it me?
We have our team leaders up here. We. I don't know where the mics went. They're gone, I guess. Oh, there they are. Okay. Oh yeah, whatever, doesn't matter. Okay. So this is triple points. So it's a big one. The last 2 were double points. It's triple points, top 7 answers on the board. We asked a bunch of bronies this question, and they answered them up to last night. Name an animal in Equestria that does not speak. Kelly.
Gummy?
Gummy. So, Gummy, Gummy, he does speak once, but we don't see him speak.
That's a good answer, I think.
I think it's a good answer. That's a good answer, right, audience? All right, let's see. Let's see Gummy. Or just alligators, I guess. I don't know. No? Okay. Oh yeah, there he is. No, it was up there. It was up there. That's okay. No. Slip of the fingers. No problem. So, but not the number 1 answer. Can you do better than that? Name an animal in Equestria that does not speak.
Fluttershy's rabbit that I can't remember the name of.
Angel. How about Angel? Bunny's number 1 beats you to it, unfortunately. So talk amongst yourselves. Well, actually, wait a second. Do you want to play or pass?
We will play, please.
They're going to play. All right, they're playing. Playing the feud. Going down the list again. Name an animal in Equestria that does not speak. Vincent.
Oh, yeah. Well, here we go, Alex. You see, the term animal goes back to ancient Macedonia. I'll say, bear.
A bear. Bear? Bears! Persnickety pulling it out of left field, but making it work. All right. Name an animal in Equestria that does not speak. Bats. They speak a lot when there's mangoes near, but that's about it, I think, right? So how about bats? No. Good answer, but didn't make the survey, unfortunately. Name an animal, Tom, in Equestria. He does occasionally. In Equestria that does not speak.
I'm going to say Timberwolves.
They make those clickety-clackety sounds. Let's see, Timberwolves. No, they do howl, but they don't speak. You're right. Yes. Name an animal in Equestria that does not speak.
Normal dogs, not diamond dogs.
Clarifying that one, just dogs. Dogs. There they are. Good answer. You are both very good at this game. I'm going to say that. All right. Name an animal. He's discovered the secret. You just name animals and it works out. Name an animal in Equestria that does not speak.
Birds.
Birds is an animal. I happen to like them myself. The audience clapping was not, they weren't very happy about it. Let's say, so they're more happy now. Specifically normal birds. How about specifically normal birds? No. I mean, they don't, but they didn't make the survey. So, moving on to team left. Let's go down the list here. Andrea, what were you thinking?
Turtles.
Butterflies.
Oh, I thought we were going with turtles.
You're just gonna guess.
Oh,
And then I'll.
yeah, cats.
Okay, yeah.
Boys.
Lloyd's? Okay. So, you have your own mic. Obviously birds were already given, so that's not a good one to give. Yes. So you would not want to guess birds.
We're
That
not
would be a
gonna
bad
guess
one.
birds, That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I think we're gonna go for turtles.
how about turtles? For the steal, let's see if it's up there. Turtles. There it is. Tortoises. We're giving it to you. I know it's a different animal. It was lumped in. It was lumped in. We did have people say turtles, so sorry. I know that one. I know that one. I knew you were going to argue that one too. But that's okay. Team left gets the 192 points. Once again, jumping ahead, but not by a lot. Actually, I guess you always were, but not by far. So what's number 3, audience? What is it? Cats. Squirrels. I'm hearing a couple different ones. Manticores. Parasprites. Okay, what is it? What's number 3?
Oh.
Giraffes. I don't
So
know,
obvious.
audience. What are you doing to us up here? Come on. All right, number 7. What's number 7? Let's see. Kieran. Now that's an interpretation because it does say name an animal. But that's okay. It was your answer, so it made it on the survey. Moving right along to the next round. Let's go. Next person in line, whoever wants to come up. Doesn't matter at this point. Sure, whatever. Yeah, come on up. Whatever. We'll go back to the original groups. We have enough time for a few more rounds here, so we'll make this happen. Okay. So this is, again, we're going back to single points, so you're going to be inching up a little bit on this one. We were planning 2 games, but it just worked out to be put it all together. That's what we're doing. So here we go. Top 8 answers on the board. We asked a bunch of bronies to answer this question. Name a character who has celebrated something in an episode or movie. And that's right, yes.
Pinkie Pie.
Seems like an easy one to give. Name a character who has celebrated something. Pinkie Pie. There she is, number 1. Player pass, player pass, player pass.
We will pass.
They're passing. Strategic. So in case you weren't aware, that means that they don't think they can get all of the answers and they get a chance to steal. So here we go. I see you're cheating already. That's okay. We'll let it happen.
That's saying, don't worry about it. We got this, friend.
Collaborating. Did you come up there? Okay. So, name a character who has celebrated something in an episode or movie.
Princess Cadence.
Princess Cadence, absolutely, she did. Let's see Cadence. Didn't make the survey. I think they're starting to see the reason. You're starting to see the reason they passed this one. Okay. Name a character who has celebrated something in an episode or movie.
I'm gonna go with Twilight Sparkle.
She did. Coronation, certainly a celebration. Let's see Twilight Sparkle. There she is. Only one strike, so no pressure yet. Name a character who has celebrated something in an episode or movie.
Rainbow Dash?
The birth anniversary. How about Rainbow Dash? Number 2, actually. Wow, behind Pinky of all things. Apparently her birthday was a big deal. Okay, name a character who has celebrated something in an episode or movie.
I'm going to go with Matilda.
Matilda. Yeah,
Oh
how about the
boy,
wedding?
Smattering of applause. That doesn't bode well.
Oh, how about the wedding? No, everyone's remembering that one. They're like, right, the wedding. Yeah. 100th episode. Okay, let's see Matilda. No. Unfortunately, didn't make that one. Stop cheating. Stop cheating. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Name a character. See, what they don't realize is the second game was the hard game.
Yeah, stop cheating. No. Stop cheating.
Stop cheating.
Name a character who has celebrated something in an episode or movie.
Say Cadence.
Oh, fuck. Fluttershy?
Fluttershy. We're naming. I mean, it's an easy one to name. So sure, Fluttershy. Let's see Fluttershy. No. Didn't make it. Was that strike 3? That was strike 2, I think. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that was 2. We're gonna make it 2 either way. We're going with 2. I don't know. Name a character who has celebrated something in an episode or movie.
Sunny Star Scout.
Sunny Star Scout. Absolutely. She did. She did. She brought magic back. There was a celebration. It was the town celebration, I thought. But either way. All right, let's see Sunny Star Scout. No. Didn't make it. So we're going to go back to Team Right and see if they have an idea. Vincent, what were you thinking?
All right, Alex. Well, I was thinking about celebrating myself. So I'm going to go back there with a persnickety snatchel pack and have a little treat.
Andy. Not that you have to follow that up, but good luck with it. So, name a character who has celebrated something.
He just said Snatchel Pack on stage. I'm going to say Applejack.
Applejack, okay.
Celestia.
Celestia.
Big Mac got married.
Big Mac. And you did. Your character did.
I did, but I like that one person clapped, which makes me second guess my opinion.
It's all those Sugar Bell fans.
Yeah,
that's how it
I
works.
know. It's just crazy how many Sugar Bell cosplays. Just the doors are.
All right. So
I know.
You've got some answers to
So
give.
we have Celestia.
So
Nothing?
name
No?
a character who has celebrated something in an episode or movie
I
for the
got
steal.
I got nothing but Big Mac's wedding, so I'm gonna go with that.
We're gonna go with Big Mac. We're Big Mac for
Number 8.
for the steal. Let's say Big Mac.
Number 8.
No, which means their plan failed. Unfortunately, Chris Nickety absolutely
one.
betrayed his family.
Very tricky.
Going to Team Left. Team Left gets the points. So that was a very difficult one. That was a difficult one. We got to give you some hard ones here and there. All right, Gummy? I don't know. You think? Okay. What else is up there? What do you think, audience? Spike. I heard Spike. Okay, let's just see. Let's see number
yeah, that's a
4.
good one.
Number 4. Cheese sandwich.
Wow.
Cheese sandwich makes sense. How about number 5? Starlight Glimmer.
Oh, she does celebrate a lot of stuff. She had a whole Christmas episode.
She did. She did. She had many celebrations of her own accord, I think. Number 6.
World domination,
Rarity.
There she is.
Celebrating the opening of the new store. Let's see 7.
New store.
Moon Dancer. Moon Dancer. That's true. Good answer, everybody. And number 8. Zipperwill. Had her cute Siniera. There you go. I had to look that one up when I saw
Are you
that.
telling me? You're telling me Zipper will?
We were screwed.
You guys knew you know I'm here, right? I'm at the con.
I want to know what time it is because I want to know if we're going to win.
On that terrible
More
disappointment,
like,
we're moving.
hey, wait. More like Zipper ain't.
Zipper won't.
And we're moving on to round number whatever this is. One more time.
You got this, Jenna.
We have time for at least this round, maybe the next one. We'll see how long this one takes. Single points again. Top 9 answers on the board. We asked a bunch of bronies. Name a popular male character in MLP.
Big Mac.
Let's go with Big Mac. Going with Dad. Big Mac. Big Mac, 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 Big Mac. There he is. It took a while to find number 1. Are we playing?
And I'm sorry that I got mad on the last question.
That's big of you. That's big of you, Peter. Big of you. Playing or passing?
We're going to play.
We're going to play it. Okay. Going down to Tom. Name a famous male character in MLP.
It's my go-to. Discord.
Discord! Let's see if he made the survey again. Discord. He always does. He just finds his way on there somehow. Okay. Name a popular male character in MLP.
Shining armor.
Shining armor. Shining armor. Let's see him. There he is. Number 2. Back to Peter. Name a popular male character.
Feather Gold Darn Bangs.
Feather Bangs. Let's see Feather Bangs. No. Not popular enough. Oh, I'm sorry, Vincent, and I'm not sorry at all. Anyways, moving along. Name a popular male character.
Don't worry, I've got another answer. What? Should I do it? Should I do it?
Do it!
Yeah? No, yeah? Yeah? Flash Sentry!
Flash Sentry! Flash Sentry! Flash Sentry! Flash Sentry! Flash Sentry! Flash Sentry! Yeah.
Whoa!
Is it wrong? I hoped it wasn't up there. Okay. Name a popular male character in MLP, Andy. Doctor Who's and your mic cut out there, but we're going with the Good Doctor. Am I there? Doctor Who's? Is he up there? Doctor Who's? Yeah! There he is. One of the most memorable side characters, I would say, anyways. Yeah. Sorry, and that was Andy. So, Tom, what are you thinking?
Spike.
Spike! 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 There he is.
I don't remember his character's name. Okay.
Going down the list.
How about my boy Hitch?
How about Hitch? Let's see if Hitch hitched himself on the survey. Did he hitch his... There he is. He made it. Doing really well, guys. 2 answers left. Name a popular male character.
I'm going to dig deep and go for Brayburn.
I just can't believe he might not be on the survey. How about Brayburn? There he is. You have a chance to sweep here, Chris Nickety. Name a popular male character in MLP.
Listen, Alex, I'm a little bit lactose intolerant, but I always like to eat some cheese sandwiches.
For the sweep. Hope it's not up there. For the sweep. There it is!
baby!
The clean sweep. Both of you get a clean sweep on the record. Good job, Team Right. Team Right getting 100 points. And you know what?
We're still losing.
How are we doing, team? Can we do another round? I need a thumbs up or a thumbs down, team. That's a thumbs up, I think. That's a down. That's an up. Okay, thank you. The lights are bright up here. We're doing another round. Okay, yeah. We'll do one last round. This is the final round. We'll do this quickly. Come on up, whoever wants to. Doesn't matter. Oh, this is not the best one to end on. Why don't we go to the next one? It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Actually, you know what? It's not really pony related, but it is kind of. So, we'll see. Okay. All right. Top 9 answers on the board. It is a double points
Hands
round, so
behind
it
your
means
back.
anybody could win. Here we go. Name a type of celebration featured in MLP. Yeah.
A birthday party.
How about a birthday party for Rainbow Dash?
Very good.
Let's see birthday party. Looking for the answer, looking for the answer, looking for the strike. There it is. Birthday, birthday. You want to play or pass? Oh, wait. Oh, you can do better. Tom. Type of celebration.
Wedding.
Wedding. How about wedding? There it is, but not better, which means, Marika, you get to decide. Play or pass?
Sure, why not? Yeah.
They're passing. They're
feeling
passing.
confident.
They're passing. All right. Name a type of celebration featured in MLP.
Quinceañera.
Quinceañera! Where is it? There it is. Peter. Type of celebration.
Coronation.
A coronation. Fancy, fancy wing getting coronation. Let's see it. Let's see it. I think it's there. Wow. I thought that was up there. Okay. Actually, I remember it maybe not being up there. Okay, well, we're moving on. Only one strike. Name a type of celebration.
Well, Alex, in my culture, we like to celebrate hearthwarming.
Hearthwarming. How about hearth swarming? Hearth swarming. I think that's up there. Is it? I think it is. Yeah, there it is. Everybody loves some hearth swarming. Name a type of celebration featured in MLP.
Well, David, Alex, Frank,
Finn.
You're Frank. I'm going with Hearts and Hooves Day.
Hearts and Hooves Day, Valentine's Day, Hearts and Hooves Day.
Sorry?
There it is. Only one strike. And we see some cheating going on, but that's okay. Give him the mic. Works out, yeah. It's technically you're not supposed to. I don't care. Whatever. That's fine. You guys get special privilege. That's how it works. It's all of Chris Nickety. Chris Nickety paid me off earlier, so it's fine. Okay, name a type of celebration.
Grand Galloping Gala.
Grand Galloping Gala. That's a celebration. Let's see it. There it is. Type of celebration.
Nightmare night.
Nightmare night. We,
No, you have to do it. It's there.
the survey shall last forever. Peter, back to you. Type of
Crap.
celebration.
Crap, because I was gonna say all of the ones that we just got.
Well, you could say them again, but I wouldn't recommend it.
No, I'm gonna say number 3.
Let's see number
Let's see number 3.
3. Number 3. Really? Are we doing this?
What was the guess?
Put it at number 3. Number
Sure.
3.
Give him number 3. Whatever. I don't know. It's the only time. What
See
even
the thing
are we
that's under
doing
number
up here?
3. That's the thing that they do.
Oh, but then all of a sudden there was a strike. All of a sudden there was a strike 2. I don't know where it came from. Suddenly there was a strike 2, right, Linux?
Good answer, good answer.
Suddenly it was strike 2.
All right, Alex, don't worry about it. We
All
got
of a
numbers.
sudden, there it
Hey,
is.
whoa,
Oh.
hey, whoa.
All of a sudden. Okay. Name a type of celebration.
Well, this is something I never did, but graduation. Ha!
Graduation.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess there was graduation. How about the
Stay
graduation?
in school, not like persnickety.
Graduation, clean sweep.
Snatch
clean
it.
sweep. No. All right. Winter. Oh, there's some yelling. The audience is yelling.
Why didn't you say that earlier? I
The
needed
audience is yelling
that.
things.
Wait, or is this our chance?
It seems
to
fair.
We
gave
don't
them an
listen to those
entirely-
answers.
We gave them an answer out of
Yeah.
nowhere. Are we just going with it?
Yeah, we're ready.
Okay.
Winter roundup, winter roundup.
Let's see if it's on the survey.
Winter roundup, winter roundup.
And there it is. You win. Congratulations.
We were gonna
Team
get
left
that.
wins. They win the points and they win the game. They win the everything.
69-9. 69-9.
That is the best.
Dude, two.
That is the best.
Wing demands a recount.
That is the best winning. That is the best winning score I have ever seen. A
What a
recount
good
has been
sport,
demanded.
Peter.
The right
Thank
demands a
you.
recount.
Do the recount off stage. You're saying? Okay.
I see some hanging chads over there.
And that's it for me. Good night, everybody. No, seriously though, round of applause for everybody on stage. Thank you so much for being here. They have an autograph session coming up in 15 minutes, so go and get your autographs. Thanks for being here. I have been Affinity. Round of applause to our AV team. Round of applause to Linux Pony and to
How much?
Greg.
Wait, how much money do we win? What's our prize? What do we get?
Good night, everybody.
Please come down.
put together. It's going to be kind of a take on our previous panel, Brony Fandom History. But I guess before we go more into this, allow us to introduce ourselves. It's our fantastic con chair.
Hello, my name is Simmel. I'm the chair for Everfree Northwest 2022. Thanks, everybody, for coming.
Ooh. Round of applause. He worked really hard, all right? All right, you guys might know me, Chocolate Pony. I'm also Bashed the Pinata recently, so if you guys saw Pinata walking around, that was me. I'm also in the vendor hall, so come check me out. I'm selling flags and stuff. So thank you for coming. All right. So we used to do a podcast together. Some of you might know. In fact, we had some people coming up to ask us if we would ever finish this podcast. We still haven't put it on the back burner, but we do like chatting a lot. We just like randomly riffing on things, and we always say afterwards, hey, this should be a podcast, and I wish we recorded it. So this panel we're going to look at the breakdown of how I kind of categorize the past history of the Brony fandom from specifically the Generation 4 period. And then we're going to end the last part with a discussion of what we think the future will lead, especially in the age of G5. And we're going to try to leave the last 15, 20 minutes open to questions and answers from all you. So this is a previous panel that we did. And this is kind of how I initially broke down the fandom.
Yeah, so the thing I always like to do at the beginning of this panel is everybody put your hands up, put one hand up, put them up. Some of you aren't doing it, there you go. All right, now you're gonna put your hand down when I say the year that you joined the fandom or first started coming to cons or first started watching the show, all right? So this year, 2022, 2021, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, there we go, we're getting into the median now, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, there we go, we had like 2 or 3 ultra OGs there. Really interesting to see, we got a nice spread here, and so it sounds like a lot of you have been around for a good time, and maybe some of this will be familiar to you.
Yeah. So we're going to quickly just break down some of my categorizations of how I kind of, specifically for my convention history book, how I was breaking down the Brony fandom, very complex topic into short little bite-sized pieces. But we probably all remember the beginning, so I'm not going to go too much into details about this, but we come from a period right after what we call the TV cartoon renaissance. This is when Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, Disney were at its height with cartoon shows, Powerpuff Girls, shows like that. We kind of hit a low period when we started to see a lot of Family Guy clones and knockoffs, a lot of shows similar to Johnny Test. It's a period I like to retroactively call the animation recession. Then we kind of come to a brand new period when Adventure Time regular show and Lauren Faust's reboot of My Little Pony occurred around the same period, 2010. And how, I guess, the fandom kind of formed was specifically on 4chan, where we had a lot of fans, specifically, we think of 4chan as kind of a raunchy place now, but you have to remember that it was just a board for people to talk about specific fandoms, specifically on the cartoon board. There were a lot of millennial college students who were fans of animators from this Renaissance period, like Lauren Faust. Lauren Faust worked on some fantastic works and movies: Iron Giant, Cats Don't Dance, Powerpuff Girls, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. So of course, when there was news that Lauren Faust was going to make a brand new show, a reboot of My Little Pony, it piqued the curiosity of a lot of people. It was criticized kind of quickly by some people, and a lot of the millennials on these boards like 4chan basically kind of rushed to defend her, saying, hey, let's give her a chance, let's watch this first episode and see how it goes.
Yeah, the very first thing, this was really one specific article, and do you remember the exact title? It was The End of Creator-Driven Media or something.
Ironic, it was the opposite.
What was the publisher? What platform was it? It was like
Cartoon Brew.
Yeah, so article goes out, this person, the show had just dropped, and this person was critiquing this as basically, this is a half-hour-long commercial for toys, where is the creativity? Where's the true narrative? Where's the story? And so on places like 4chan, this is kind of the recorded history of how the fandom came about. Is someone posted this, and then they decided, well, let's look into this. Is it actually any good or not? And they decided, actually, this is very good. And yeah, it kind of proceeded
became
from
our
there.
default mascot because Dirt Bike Pony in the background was kind of embraced by the fandom as kind of like our mascot. And even within 4chan, that's when the term Brony was actually coined.
That's true. This is the post here.
You could say.
Thanks
Perfect.
a lot, Pony Bro. And the one, Pony Bro, more like Brony, am I right? So wherever anonymous number 98658 is today, you're a legend.
I also like the little trivia page of what fans are called, and we also have man culters, mirror men, hoofers. These are some fantastic terms.
It's don't really a little clunky.
Yeah,
not my first choice.
But anyways, this period, because it kind of started online, it made sense that online media would kind of become popular and prominent. So this is where we really get the rise of a lot of fan art and fan fiction. And this is where I would say, so each period I break down, I kind of would like to talk about a specific content creator that basically was I guess the term would be horse famous of that period. And you kind of see how each area was kind of defined by who was the popular content creators. And because this was before we really started to have Brony conventions, online, everyone gathered online. So online media, fan fiction, fan art, memes, GIFs were going to be the most popular. And during this period, it was a sense of trying to hide that you loved Bronies in an unironic sense. So there was an idea of trying to make fun of liking My Little Pony as some type of ironic meme subculture.
Yeah.
And also the idea of, aside from that, mashing up dark ideas with My Little Pony, for example. So Fall Equestria, as we saw, is kind of a mashup of something that should not be with the cutesy My Little Pony. We had a lot of parodies like the Watchmen ponies, which is taking two ideas that should be polar opposites and kind of mashing them together.
In some ways, it's almost like a guarded sort of masculinity that says that because we're watching this show that is nominally meant for little girls, we have to do something with it that shows that it's not just that, we're also subverting it in some way.
We're subverting your expectations. Hey, yeah, we like Pony. It's just, it's a fun meme.
But it's funny. It's just a meme, bro.
So, of course, it would make sense that the places where people would gather would eventually be on online news sites. So, of course, Equestria Daily was kind of the early version of that. And you have to remember one of the closest comparisons we compare the Brony fandom to is the furry fandom. In the furry fandom, they meet a lot through conventions and online.
I don't know how they're similar at all. What are you talking about?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we're not furries. We're not furries at all. We're not diet furries. But in the
aren't.
Yes. In the furry fandom, I guess Uncle Kage is kind of like the de facto, spokesperson for the furry fandom. And we had this period in the Brony community where everyone was trying to be the kind of the de facto
the face of the fandom.
Yeah. So Fisto with Equestria Daily was kind of the first on that train. And quickly after Equestria Daily became popular because they kind of got the connection with Hasbro, this is where people were meeting, looking at art and stuff. There was a lot of different news sites that tried to basically become the new Equestria Daily. Derby Hooves News is an example, Everfree Network. And then we start to see the shift from purely being I guess, what's Equestria Daily kind of called? It's like a collection
of news blog.
Yeah. To being more of a news network with audio and visual. And then this is where you get the rise of Brony radio stations. You had Ponyville Live, Celeste Radio, Everfree Network. And
Which was Everfree Radio originally, and then they expanded that.
It's weird because it has kind of the same abbreviations as this convention.
Yes, well, it's no relation.
Yes. I think that was the confusion for a lot of people.
Some people actually were generally confused about that. No affiliation there.
So, of course, it would make sense as we start to shift to more audio platforms for the fandom that it would be the podcasters who kind of took the reins of being the next horse famous content creators during this period. And this is where we saw the rise of a lot of Brony podcasts. Of course, Dusty Cat had his manliest Brony. The very first podcast most people could trace is Bronyville Live, run by Apple Cider and Chef Sandy. Chef Sandy is one of the co-founders of Nightmare Nights Dallas, and she's actually been heavily involved in the furry fandom for years beforehand. So she brought the style of furry con running to the BronyCon scene. Of course, we had Pega Sisters Live. And of course, what do you do when you have podcasts? What do you put in between your podcast shows? You would obviously put musicians. So this is also where we get the rise of Brony musicians, and Brony musicians starting to becoming really popular during this period.
Oh, yes. Many a YouTube video waiting for those to come out.
Yep. So we kind of entered the next period where it was a audio formats, and also we had the rise of Tumblr Pond. This is the Tumblr Ask Blog period. We have Fisherpone, who's been involved with the Tumblr Pond during the heyday. So we basically had the shift of people trying to make Ask Blogs. And in fact, I think the pony Ask Blogs really influenced how other fandoms started to do Ask Blogs. While ponies weren't kind of the first Ask Blogs, the way the Brony fandom did Ask Blogs. In fact, my mascot, Chocolate Pony, is based off an Ask Blog, where people would ask questions in the Ask box, and then we would respond with some type of cute piece of artwork.
Yeah, actually, I mean, just to backtrack slightly, you're saying this about the Tumblr community and the Ask Blog things. I feel also like Brony specifically had a really big impact on fandom music and the way that it would be distributed online. It's not as though it was the first thing. There's a concept called filk that some people may be familiar with, which is something that would happen at a lot of, Star Trek conventions, sci-fi conventions back in the day, where people would kind of meet up in these empty panel rooms and play music and write songs about their favorite characters from different shows. And Brony music is really a continuation of that, but what makes it so interesting is that I feel like I can't really think of very many earlier examples of it finding wider success on YouTube. Like the way it intersected with YouTube as an emergent platform just kind of allowed it to take off. And I remember, those who have been around a long time will remember how insanely active that community was, where you would be kind of like looking forward to new songs that all these people are putting out, and it would be all over EQD. Some very famous examples here, obviously. Odyssey's Discord, which then had the very famous remix by the Living Tombstone. And it really kickstarted a lot of careers, too. I mean, we've seen Brony musicians go on to kind of become mainstream in some sense. Living Tombstone has a record deal. We have Black Griffin, who was recently on America's Got Talent, if anyone saw that. So, really cool stuff.
Yeah. So, yeah, and I think I talked about this a bit on my convention history panel, but yeah, like he was saying, you could see the line from folk music to the modern renegade stage, but Brony music really brought something new to the scene, as we'll see if you guys been to the gala last night, look how impressive the light work, the setup, everything was. Look how fantastic the AV crew
that's all
and
these
staff was.
guys in the back here.
You know what? Furries like to claim they were the inspiration for a lot of the Brony stuff, but Brony, if you look at any furry concert, you could see how they took a lot of the AV crew from the Brony fandom and import them over, because
all cons have the same AV crew, by the way. It's like the same 5 people.
But it's impressive how much Brony music has played a part in the convention scene, especially. So speaking of conventions, so we kind of get the birth of the first BronyCon. So I'm going to use the term BronyCons as a generic term for Gen 4 My Little Pony conventions.
Yeah, BronyCon is the Kleenex of pony conventions. It's
Just
the,
like
it's
how,
the genericized trademark.
Like Comic-Con was with that. Ironically, AnimeCon and FurryCon don't have that in their specific fandoms. But when we talk about Hard R BronyCon, that was specifically created by an individual named Purple Tinker. I do want to give her a lot of credit. I know a lot of people have kind of maligned her and attacked her in recent years, but she did have the vision for creating the first BronyCon, and we really need to recognize that. Specifically the fact that we've had trans creators, specifically a lot of trans founders of pony conventions, a lot of trans chairs. It shows how inclusive this fandom's birth really is. Like, for some reason, I think bronies get unfairly attacked for not being as inclusive, but we could see from the birth, especially within the convention scene, we've had one of the most diverse group of founders and forefathers and foremothers within our fandom itself. Specifically, Tinker herself, she was a Trekkie and she was a furry, and she basically took the combination of how Star Trek cons were run and how furry cons were run. So she basically took the actor guest of honor model from the Star Trek cons and paired it with how the Dealer's Den and Tanneling tracks were done with the furry cons. But even though BronyCon kind of planted its flag as the first, there was a race to be the first BronyCon, as you know. So,
I mean, so obviously Everfree is 10 years old, in case you missed that. But yeah, there were different pockets of activity really in the early fandom, and one of them was over on the East Coast. The Seattle area specifically had a very active MLP community in the early days. We spoke a little bit about that if anyone was here for the Everfree history panel that we did yesterday morning. And it's really interesting, I guess, to see the way that those each emerged from existing fandom convention scenes, but also the fact that there were new elements that had to be added. Like you're mentioning here with Purple Tinker, there's a whole lot of influence from...
the Trekkies and the...
Yeah, influence from Trekkies. Whereas on the West Coast, I know there was a lot of involvement, with local furry groups over here in Seattle, and I know BabsCon had a lot of the sort of San Francisco Bay sci-fi con DNA
so
in it.
BayCon, I always say in my panels, BabsCon, you could see the direct influence from the sci-fi cons because the sci-fi cons always had that bulletin board in the hotel lobby where you post the room party signs on, and Babs up to recently was the only con that was doing that, so you could see the direct DNA from the sci-fi cons to BabsCon. Now Everfree finally has a party floor in the same bulletin board, so Everfree is just picking up and continuing this fantastic tradition.
Yeah, it's nice to have a venue that is good for it. We haven't always had a great layout, but our third floor is pretty nice.
But just quickly covering, Unicon happened. We all know what happened with
Nothing
Unicon.
happened there.
Nothing
Moving on.
happened there. But we had to create a new department called VIPR, and that was something that the Bronies kind of brought onto the scene, which we'll talk about later about the con influences. But basically, Tinker tried to make way for this to avoid this from happening, because while the Star Trek fandom, for example, could pull guests from any single generation, they could pull it from the original series all the way to new CBS shows and whatnot, My Little Pony was still actively going. It was within the first and second season when the con started to happen. There's only 6 characters in the show, main 6 characters. There are 4 VAs between them, and when you had like 50 ponycons around the world fighting for the same 4 VAs, it gets it's a little tricky. So basically, after Unicon, the fandom kind of clamped down. Okay, we're going to isolate these cons in these specific areas. We're going to have emergency contingencies to avoid such things from happening, and not just the Brony fandom, but every single con around the country, the anime cons, the comic cons, the furry cons, had emergency meetings and started to create their own contingencies to prevent a Unicon from happening like that again.
Yeah. Really represented a sort of sea change when it came to how we handle these things. Many people don't know, still to this day, it is the case that conventions like this exist in what is essentially a sort of gray area legally in terms of intellectual property, where at any moment, something like Hasbro could come down and say, no, you don't get to do this kind of thing anymore. So when something like Unicon happens, it's really, really important to take lessons from that and understand that you cannot play fast and loose with this kind of thing.
A perfect example is the Harry Potter fandom. Harry Potter fandom is arguably bigger than the Brony fandom, yet why don't you see Harry Potter cons anymore? It's because Warner Brothers quickly put down the ban hammer and prevented them from having. They had their own unique convergent evolution with the Brony fandom. They had Wizard Rock, they had their Quidditch games. They had very similar things to what we had experienced within our own fan community, yet it's basically dead now. The convention scene for Harry Potter is dead, even though they're arguably a bigger fandom because of how quickly the ban hammer came down on this community.
And Harry Potter is something where you can see similarities to why there would be a con scene that forms around it. I once had a friend ask me he was kind of weirded out by the whole Brony thing. I'm sure no one has had that experience with anyone they know. And he's like, I just don't understand why, way many people watch SpongeBob than My Little Pony, probably, right? So why aren't there SpongeBob conventions? And I said, first of all, I would go to a SpongeBob convention.
Yes. I want to have a Krabby Patty and a kelp shake.
Oh, man. Well, this is the SpongeBob panel now.
Yes.
I hope. No, but secondly, SpongeBob has very mass appeal, but I think it also takes it takes a sort of quintessence that's hard to put into words to explain why you have a community form around something, and we'll probably get more into that later. So we'll keep going with the history.
So
but
just quickly, I think the audio network period wrapped up. Its height was when they were going to these different cons and streaming them live, because a lot of people couldn't go to these conventions. So streaming these panels and events live was very important for the fandom to kind of grow and experience and unite together. So this is what Everfree Network was doing, along with Celestia Radio, Ponyville Live. We're doing live streams of panels, but when Everfree Network tried to move in and try to take over streaming, that caused some issues. And eventually, when the cons were like, hey, we'll take over our own streaming, I think that's when the network period ended and the convention era really began. Specifically, when BronyCon said, hey, we don't need you guys anymore, we're going to take over our own streaming. And this is where we shift to the next period where we have a domination of conventions. So we didn't have as much conventions as the previous era, but we had stronger, larger conventions during this period. And while we were at convention, new, unique stuff would form. So for example, when you're at convention, card games are going to be popular. You go to any con, everyone's playing Cards Against Humanity. So it's natural we would have our own equivalent of Cards Against Humanity form with Twilight's Secret Shipfic. Of course, we're going to have a lot of memes develop at cons. M.A. Larson became such a big personality at cons that so many memes formed around M.A. Larson. We had a lot of new vendors moving into the space. We're going to talk about Kitty Corral later on, but you had a lot of vendors making an income, like myself, off My Little Pony. I was studying to be a brain surgeon at Johns Hopkins University, and I started to sell at BronyCon, which was right next door to me in Baltimore, and I have not went back to med school since, and this has become my full-time job now. I've been able to achieve, being a vending artist as a full-time job. While I don't do PonyCons as much anymore, it was the Brony fandom that helped me get my start. It was attending these conventions that a lot of people started to get the concept of being horse famous, the idea you could be popular at the cons. So of course you could fill your guest list up with show staff and IDW artists, but the concept of community guests is kind of unique to the Brony fandom. So science fiction cons and furry cons have the concept of a fan guest of honor. But for us, because not only are we copying that model, we're also copying the list and pages of guests that the Comic Cons and anime cons do. Our equivalent to that would be the community guests. That's the only way to fill out pages of headshots of people.
Yeah, I mean, we have a very vibrant and creative community. There's a whole lot of people. It's really interesting the way that, fandom evolves as a culture, and you have folks that you see, familiar faces you'll see at each of these different events, and it's kind of an interesting way to recognize those people, I think.
Yes, that's true. And this is the kind of period where not just BronyCon kind of took over the network, the streaming of their own panels. This is where BronyCon became really dominant. This is when it broke off from Purple Tinker's original group and was under the reign of Lunar Solace. And the BronyCon model kind of became influential for how other PonyCons were ran afterwards. And this is also where BronyCon really hit its height. It's the first con it was the first PonyCon to hit 10,000 attendees, and it did this long before the furry fandom did. So furries like to say bronies are a subculture of it, but no furry con has hit only one furry con has hit 10K attendance, and it was years after BronyCon did. But this is where we get the YouTubers as kind of the big personalities, the horse parents personalities, because now that you kind of saw these people on YouTube and the streaming networks, now these become the big personalities at your conventions. You have your Saber Sparks, you have your AC Race Fest. This is also where the con chairs kind of become the personalities. If you guys, again, know about the furry fandom, you have individuals like Uncle Kage running around wearing a lab coat, holding a glass of wine, kind of the big personality, giving his con talk stories. And you had a lot of similar individuals in the Brony fandom kind of fill that role. You had Josh Dean with BronyCon, you had Sonia for BabsCon, you had Darkly for TrotCon. You had these big con chair personalities who kind of filled in the reins of things. And of course, we had that famous Bob's Burgers episode and stuff as well. And this is where the Brony music scene really, really exploded. And then we kind of, because we move into some more nebulous problems. So once you had the idea, okay, these people can be horse famous, these could be famous personalities, these are people we put on pedestals, the next step is we need to take them down. So I really would say the next stage is kind of more of a drama stage where every single con has con fires. The con staffers are leaking stuff behind the scenes. All these personalities that you like and praise, these are actually really bad people. And then you had sites like Horse News and stuff trying to come down and, take down these personalities. Some of them were problematic and properly needed to be taken down. Other time it was just drama for drama's sake.
This is kind of a manifestation of the wider cultural phenomenon this is when like Me Too was first happening.
This was after the era of sad puppies and rabid puppies with the sci-fi fandom. Vic Mignogna stuff was popping up in the anime fandom. Cosplay and consent was now becoming was becoming really, really big within the conscience scene. And this is where I think Brony's really stepped up to the plate as well. The Brony fandom, as we'll talk about later, introduced a lot of elements that really added for a more inclusive environment. But this was also the time we were trying to kind of psychoanalyze ourselves. And we kind of really saw this rise of a bunch of Brony documentaries and Brony parodies, Brony musicals, all trying to make sense of this entire fandom. So, of course, John Delancey and Ashley Ball all had their own separate documentaries kind of covering this.
These are somewhat anachronized, I think, on this slide, but...
Yes.
So Brony's a documentary. I remember that one coming out. That was like 2012 BronyCon.
That was a little older one,
Yeah. Fantastic, though. I remember that was like really the peak of media attention into the whole thing was around that time. I remember it was on Netflix for a while. Yeah.
So talking about the influences Bronies did within the fan scene, so I'm not going to say the BronyCons were the first to do things like communication tags or gender-neutral bathrooms and pronoun ribbons, but on a whole, it was adopted by the Brony fandom first. And it kind of made sense, as I'll explain later, but BronyCon was really the first to do the communication tags at the cons, and we saw years later, half a decade later, the furry fandom finally picked that up as well. And like I was saying, a lot of these con founders, these con chairs and staffers were trans individuals themselves, so it would make sense that they were really the first en masse to have gender-neutral bathrooms, which I think was really appropriate for the fandom around this time. And like I said, the VIPR model was adopted by other cons around the country.
You realize that it says VERP?
Did I say verb?
V-I-R-P.
That makes it up. Oh, yeah. So VIPR, Viper is the abbreviation.
VERP.
I like verb better. We're going to call our
very important
verb.
Relations person.
But it's called the guest relations department. It's called the green room department. Doesn't matter what con you go to. Now we have this equivalent there. And this is where Cutie Corral, one of the vendors of these big, fat, chibi felt plushies, you guys probably remember them, were like, hey, the joke is, hey, Cutie Corral needs more places to sell their big fat plushies. So why not just create conventions specifically to sell their plushies? So Cutie Corral started to get into the business of running cons. They started Ponyville Satterfest and Windy City PonyCon. They even bought up MLP MSP. And eventually they got to a point where they were making, they were so successful with their PonyCons and their business, they decided to expand to fursuit making, and they reformed as Lemon Brat Studio. And after realizing, fursuits are making a lot of money, it's like, hey, why not start furry cons? And this is where they formed Corgi Events, and they started to make a lot of furry cons like Denver, Painted Desert Fur Con, Aquadifur, Sin City, Mercon. They even bought up Anime Milwaukee for a period. And it made sense that because this is kind of the Reed Pop or Left Field Media or Wizard World or Fan Expo of the Brony and furry scene, it made sense that since they started in the pony fandom, they brought over the pronoun ribbons, they brought over the gender-neutral bathrooms, they brought over Viper to the furry scene, and now a lot of furry cons that formed afterwards have now adopted a lot of the stuff that Corgi Events and the Brony fandom introduced.
We've got about a half hour left.
So we're going to quickly wrap up and get to the discussion portion. But then we get to this twilight era. The BronyCon numbers kind of dipped, and I think the BronyCon period kind of ended. We started to have rumblings of the show being over. 4chan banned MLP, and they've brought them back through /MLP boards. The entire joke that the fandom is dying became a very, very big meme. Like we were talking about, the Me Too movement, call-out culture was really big around this time. But some of the positives are people who started within the fandom who eventually became big outside of Bronies.
Oh, yes.
One of my good friends, Ashley, she worked on staff for a lot of conventions. She worked under me for BabsCon. I believe she also worked on staff for Everfree as well. Of course, she's now known for Huncast. She worked on Has Been Hotel, and she's working on her own series now. Of course, Trish, who was one of the artists for BronyCon, designed some of the best BronyCon art out there, partnered up with IDW artist Tony Fleece, and of course got their own series off the ground, Stray Dogs, which was recently nominated for an Eisner Award, the highest honor in the comic book industry. Of course, we had a bunch of musicians, like we were saying, who eventually made it, broke outside the Brony scene, Mike Their Microphone, Living Tombstone, Eurobeat, all these Silverhound, all these individuals kind of break out into the scene. We had YouTubers who started with ponies. Friendship with Switchcraft, you might not know, was created by Jenny Nicholson and one of our friends, Griffin. And now, Jenny Nicholson is now known for doing her own non-Brony stuff. Of course, you have individuals like Saber Sparker, also very big in that sense. And even here at this convention, we have 2 guests of honors who were just years ago, just fan artists selling in the vendor hall at these cons. And now they have been elevated to becoming guests of honors on the same level as these VIP artists and voice actors. And I think that's really fantastic.
It really is. And it just goes to show the profound impact that this has had in terms of connections people are able to make just within local communities that then lead to career opportunities or opportunities in other places. One of the founders of Everfree, again, if anyone was at our panel yesterday morning, he started out, he was working for the convention here, and he got to know a lot of the VIP guests and all that kind of thing, and it was very important to him. This is Royal Coat that I'm talking about. Eventually got a job working with, I believe, Nintendo in Redmond, moved around a bit, and then at some point ended up working for Wizards of the Coast. So at the end of the day, he ended up working for Hasbro.
Yes.
Like through connections made.
It's a circle again.
Yeah, big circle. Through connections made in MLP, started working for Hasbro and actually worked on the MLP-inspired MTG cards. So full circle there for sure.
And I think we were talking about even last night, a lot of people who were just fresh out of high school who started staffing cons eventually rose to ranks of being department heads, con chairs. They're now finding work without even going to college, working events at other big companies just because they had success running conventions in the Brony fandom for a while. So this was a lot of, like I said, this is now my full-time job. And I got started because of ponies. Even though ponies are not my main thing now, I got started with that. And as we can see, these YouTubers and artists all got their starts from ponies, and it's been very influential for a lot of the period. But of course, all the good things have to come to an end. And I caught this picture at the fun of BronyCon. It was great. This is Simo, our con chair here. He was Hoofbeats at BronyCon, if you guys didn't know. This was a fantastic picture. But it was coincidental that the final BronyCon and the last episode MLP basically happened within the same year. And this is where the fandom is dying meme really became really, really big and real at this point. And yes, a lot of Bronies did jump over to the furry fandom. Like if you go to furry cons now, like half the dealers hall, half the staff are all former Bronies. They brought their style over. But not only was this kind of the end period for the Brony fandom, a lot of cons kind of also had an end period because of something we now know as COVID-19 pandemic. The quarantine kind of shifted things over. Now,
it was a perfect storm, really. There were many different factors, actually, just from the perspective, real quick, of running cons, trying to project like expected attendance and just what will the vibe of the convention be? What is the health of the fandom in this sense? COVID really threw a wrench into that because already there was this sort of fog of war over how things would go the next year because of the show ending, because of BronyCon ending. We kind of thought, okay, the big one is over. Clearly, there's still interest that people want to go to these events because they went over 10K in the final year again. And maybe the other conventions, now that BronyCon is gone, will get a little bump in attendance because a lot of people might only be able to afford to go to one convention a year. And they're going to choose the last BronyCon, right, if that's the final one. But now that that's over, might see a bump elsewhere. Show is ending. How will that affect things? Then COVID comes in, and it's like we have no idea what's going to happen. And we started seeing cons having to cancel, unfortunately, just with the state of the world at that time. And we're very fortunate that we're able to come back at this point.
Yeah. So as some of you guys might know, if you guys, again, we talk about furries a bit. Furries are very tech savvy. The joke is a plane full of furries heading to a convention is dangerous because if that plane crashes, there goes the entire American IT network.
All of the IT departments. Yeah.
So while people joke that, furries are very tech savvy, they are still a generation older than the Brony fandom. So, of course, the most modern, up-to-date, tech-savvy people will be the Bronies. And it made sense that when the pandemic happened, the first online cons came from the Brony fandom. And it made sense because years even before the concept of online cons are really a thing, the Brony fandom was already doing a lot of fun cons for fun. So for example, from the Tumbler Pond area, you guys might know Horses at Home Con, an online convention, kind of a little fun, little jokey online convention. I even did my own Choco Con.
Concept.
Yeah, I did my own Choco Con where I basically did 3 days of live streamings, online stores, panels through these websites that no longer exist anymore. And we've already had the concept of jokey cons. You had Friends Con done by Midnight Premiere. You had BronyCon West done by our friend Sheer. So the idea of having these jokey cons and online cons are already a thing. So it made sense within weeks of the pandemic happening. One of my friends, artist named Ruth, she basically created a Discord group to help a lot of displaced dealers, and we basically made a virtual dealers hall on Discord. From there, one of our friends, Catherine, picked up the idea and basically decided, okay, not just the dealers hall, let's also have these live stream panels and events, and we got Ponyville.
Yeah,
Ponyfest.
Catherine was heavily involved, but also Dex.
Dex as well, our friend Dex.
Dex is kind of the one who coordinated everything from the beginning. Like, who knows Ponyfest?
Yes,
Watch
Ponyfest.
those live streams done Ponyfest? Yeah, so that whole thing came together for the very first time in 1 week. I'm not even kidding. It was literally, everything was just shutting down. And I think I got a DM from Dex saying, like, hey, do you want to help? We're trying to do, like, something to, help people stay positive during the event. There's vendors that have now lost a big source of income. So what can we do to kind of keep things afloat during COVID when we can't come and meet in person? So I did events for Ponyfest for, like, the first 5 events. But that first one came together in a week, and yeah, it's thanks to Dex. It's thanks to Catherine, who basically built from scratch the entire streaming infrastructure. Folks like Larsis, who I think is still in the back. There's just so many incredible people that put a lot of work into making Ponyfest happen, and it was a lot of work, but it seems that it accomplished its mission, which is something I'm very happy about.
Ponyfest set the template for a lot of online cons afterwards. So BabsCon went online, and a lot of these other TrotCon went online.
Generally using the Ponyfest system, like
and
literally
model,
using the software that was developed for Ponyfest.
And so it made sense that the BronyCons kind of came online first, and then, of course, quickly our brethren, the furries, followed. And we could see kind of a step-to-step of where everything went, because the PonyCon started to introduce things like Ponytown and Ponyville, right? Ponytown's what it's called.
Yeah, so Ponytown, that's the one you see there in the bottom with all the little pixelated ponies. It's
you
like
can make your own custom avatar and interact in the world, and we actually live stream panels in these like makeshift stages.
Which the Ponytown people worked with us to, incorporate those two things together and figure out how do you make a video stream go into this. And it was the very first time we did that, and I went in there, it was mind blowing. I'm like, this is amazing. There were other interesting solutions to the same problem to give it more of a feeling like a space, because that's kind of what was maybe missing originally, is that for an online thing, it's just you sitting on your computer, and you feel connected to people, but you don't have the sense of being in a shared space so much. So Ponytown, that integration was a way to address that. Also really interesting, unique solutions was SEA PonyCon, Southeast Asia PonyCon, used Minecraft.
Yeah.
They built a convention center in Minecraft and had all these mods that let them put in custom textures for a vendor hall and import live streams into an actual screen in a theater, which was very interesting.
Of course, we see the furries, of course, after that had to take the ball, and then the furries basically recreated the convention centers within Second Life in VR. And of course, furries, they already wear fursuits. And so, of course, moving to online avatars really made sense. But we could kind of see this natural line of Brony doing online cons and furries basically having to one-up us. And it shows how powerful and how well-run the furry and Brony cons are. Because when we think of conventions, we think of the big cons, the comic cons and the anime cons and the sci-fi cons. And we rarely think of the furry and the Brony cons. But once everything had to shift online, you could see how solid and how strong the foundation for Brony and furry con running was, that they were able to take the ball and not just make online conventions first, but make fantastic, well-run, well-polished online conventions where when Comic-Con and the anime cons started to shift online, they completely failed. They had to source it out to people. It was live stream, pre-recorded stuff, very laggy.
They were not prepared. Hey, look, it's us.
Yeah.
Should have come to you guys.
Yes, I think so. But I think that concludes definitely the history portion of the panel because we are still here. The pandemic happened.
We are.
BronyCon's over. Gen 4 is over, but we are still here. And I think we're going to start off with a little bit because we have about 20 minutes left. So we're going to talk a little bit about the future, and then we're going to start allowing you guys to line up so you could kind of take questions. But because we're probably running short on time, please no long comments. Just a quick short question, and you guys could start lining up and we'll take questions. And as you do, we're going to just talk about the future because Everfree right now is currently the largest PonyCon in existence. You were con chair for the pivotal years of Everfree coming back after, so you basically had to take the reins of being the con chair for 2 years for what's now the largest BronyCon that's in the shadow of the former BronyCon no longer existing.
Yeah, well, I mean, there were many interesting challenges just coming into that role already, and then COVID on top of things really threw. I mean, I was like very despondent generally, like at the beginning when I realized like that this actually might not happen. Like we might have to actually cancel the event for the first time. So that was very stressful, having to deal with that. But the thing is, there was a sort of shared stress too, because it was like, well, everyone is dealing with this. People are getting furloughed. Regular events are closing. You can't go to the grocery store anymore, right? There were all these different things happening. But on that angle, there was a huge uncertainty. Like when we do come back, will the interest still be there? Will not having this stuff for a year be enough to like kill the momentum that we still had coming off of the final BronyCon? Because again, BronyCon ending felt like it reinvigorated things to a certain degree because there's this massive event that shows you, yes, there is still all this energy in the fandom. Then COVID happens and it's like all that momentum that we were hoping would carry forward, who knows where that's going to go, And it's still, I mean, projecting, if COVID hadn't happened, projecting our attendance in 2020, it would have been considerably higher. It probably would have been a record year. So coming back from COVID is very interesting, but it's been a very interesting experience.
And still, the attendance for Everfree is impressive. If we think about, again, furries like to say they're larger conventions, and at the current moment, furry cons are still larger than PonyCons on average, but Everfree here in the Pacific Northwest still dwarfs a lot of these local, smaller furry conventions, so it's just impressive how strong, even with the numbers dip, Everfree was still able to gain such a sizable audience.
And one thing that we can credit there is that, and this is true before COVID as well, Everfree has always had a very high priority goal of being a 100% family-friendly event. And kind of in that middling period, like 2015 to 2018, when generally a lot of the PonyCons were seeing a decline in attendance, Everfree actually either sort of kept growing a little bit and then plateaued and then didn't see as much shrink as a lot of the other pony conventions. And we credit that heavily to families with kids, essentially. We've been able to...
because not just Everfree, but BabsCon and all these other pony conventions have specific areas just for kids, paneling tracks just for kids, arts and crafts. And you can see how well integrated these younger fans are with even the older audiences, and how great vendors and cosplayers interact with kids. And it's weird because when we look at like the anime or the furry communities, for example, there's an idea where, okay, you have the more adult side, the LGBT queer side, and then that does not mesh with the family-friendly nature. But we look at the cons. We have open expression of inclusivity, of queerness. We, like I said, all these con chairs and founders are in this, and we could still introduce these inclusivities with a younger audience. And I think it's great, and it kind of defeats this myth that, no, these can't meld. The Brony fandom is doing it perfectly well together. And I don't know why my panel went off, but...
Well, we're bringing the screen
all
back.
right.
But on that note, maybe we can
yeah,
kick on with some questions.
Let's take some questions. You guys have been great. Start lining up if you have any questions for us. Try to keep it short. We have about 15 minutes left. But yeah, we appreciate you guys sticking through our ramblings.
Yes, thank you very much for coming.
Yeah, hello. I was curious, you talked about the clamp down on the Harry Potter cons. How do you feel that affected the art and the community side of it? Because for me, I really view is in the pony sense, all of this is intertwined and they help regenerate each other. The cons help regenerate the art.
Oh,
and so
interesting.
on and so forth.
So, and you're asking how that factors into the Harry Potter fandom, is that right? Or?
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious. If
Okay,
you have any thoughts on that.
I'm not super familiar with the Harry Potter fandom. I haven't really considered myself part of it, but this is sort of where you draw the distinction between like being a fan of something versus being in the fandom for something.
Okay.
Those aren't necessarily the same thing. And it's because what a fandom really is a community, right? And now this is a good segue into the thing that I try to get into this panel every time, which is a little anecdote about however many years ago it was. Any Doctor Who fans in here? Good. However many years it was ago that Peter Capaldi took over. I was watching on the BBC the sort of premiere thing when they were announcing him as the next Doctor. Yeah, and I remember very specifically something he said, which, just to paraphrase, was that it's the fans that made Doctor Who. It's we made Doctor Who. Everyone made Doctor Who. We all made Doctor Who. And really the spirit of what he was saying, that really stuck with me, and it still sticks with me, because in essence, what he's pointing to is the fact that media, when it's able to engage with an audience such that the audience feels not only like it's not a one-way road, it's not that you're simply consuming something, but that you're reciprocating, you're creating something new, you're giving back to it. That, I feel, is the really defining thing about fandom. It's about community built around reciprocating creativity. It's about a community that comes together. So I don't know much about the Harry Potter fandom. I'm sure to a certain degree they probably have had, that similar sense of community. But with conventions kind of going away, it means that a lot of it has to stay kind of online. And we're lucky to live in an era where the internet is there and allows fans to connect in that ways. But I imagine it probably, would you say that without PonyCons, if they just all went away, would you think that the fandom here would just kind of...
I do definitely think it's different, because like I was saying, I'm also tracking Doctor Who cons and Harry Potter cons. Harry Potter cons right now, if you guys... Again, I'm not a fan of Harry Potter at all. If you guys have been to my past panels, I've been critical of her sloppy writing and world building. But that same argument is going on with her fandom right now, because she has come out as a TERF recently. So the fandom would debate these type of things at convention panels. But now that it's congregated online, specifically within the Twitterverse and all this stuff, you could see very big factions of the Harry Potter fandom splitting and doing these civil wars, and there's less development of new creative aspects. Like even now, we could see creative like Brony music videos and fan fiction and fan art that's being displayed and presented at conventions. You have people like Fiora and Saberspark coming to conventions, releasing new videos, updates, and stuff, and you really don't get that now when Harry Potter is kind of gone, or the convention scene is gone. SpongeBob scene doesn't really have a Harry Potter, so it has to be all done online, which includes a very different audience than I would say in-person conventions do.
Yeah. Does that hopefully answer part of it?
Yeah, thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks for the question.
Next question. Thank you. Thanks for buying one of my shirts, I see.
Yeah. As someone who is very new to the fandom, like I only started interacting with people last March, what is like some sort of media or like creator that I should go out and look for, whether it be like fan fictions, music, and artists and stuff like that?
That's a really good question. You could ask anyone here and get a million different answers on that.
Fair
for
enough.
sure.
Try Brony's React, because that will expose you to a lot of people.
Yeah, Brony's React is a big thing.
I guess the old school stuff, I really like Friendship is Witchcraft. It's
Oh, yeah.
classic, but a lot of memes
So
develop
good.
from Friendship is Witchcraft. A lot of great music from there.
If you like fan fiction, kind of the biggest fan fiction is actually a crossover with Fallout. It's called Fallout Equestria. So I don't know if you're into that at all, but I know that's a big thing that a lot of people like to talk about. It seems to have its own kind of sub fandom just around that universe. Yeah, I mean,
Milo Dashi's another big one.
My Little Dashie,
Cupcake's
that's
a little
big one.
darker,
Yeah,
but yeah.
maybe not that one.
Just look at, I would say, look at the early day, the heyday, the art that got basically these conventions started, like the Brony Abridged series, Friendship is Witchcraft, even Hot Ticket Demon's a little bit controversial now, but his Apple Dot Move was really
That was very influential too. Yeah,
influential of a lot of these early memes and stuff. And
he was at the first.
Pixel
Everfree.
Kitties is an artist I would also look out. She basically does a lot of official artwork now, and she does all the autograph art for a lot of conventions now, and she basically solidified making use of the show style, but in its own unique creative touch. You could see it's a Pixel Kitty art piece, even though she's still doing in-show style.
Yeah.
So
I would also recommend just ask more than just us, because
Yeah,
like I
fair
said,
enough.
you're going to get a lot of different answers. But it's a good question, and welcome to the fandom.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. Yes.
Hi. So say kind of My Little Pony Gen 5 has like a Star Trek Nemesis moment, and there's like 5 years without any official content. What do you think that would do to the fandom?
That's a good question.
That's actually what I was going to bring up before we started doing the Q&As, because we've done this panel for a few years now,
Yes.
and we always peg the end panel. Gen 5, we don't know what it's going to be, and then last year we were finally like, okay, the movie is
Yeah,
about
the
to
movie's
come out.
about to drop, and
But
now it is out.
That's it. It's just the movie that's out. We don't have the TV show yet. We don't know really much about it. So
One special.
yes,
Yeah.
we had that one special, and the same VAs who were in that special are not even going to be back for the TV show. So we really don't know what the impact of the fandom is, because a lot of us artists, we started drawing G5 artwork in the vendor hall. There's a lot of cosplayers, but still, it's the G4 characters that are recognizable and are being
Yeah.
bought the most and cosplayed the most.
And it's still this sort of double whammy where we're in this interstitial period that you're referencing. Like, we're in the middle of it right now. There is some media, but like the main stuff I know hasn't come out yet. But there's still the double whammy of that plus COVID that make it really difficult to see what the long term is going to look like. That said, I think there's plenty of reason to be optimistic. Like, there's so many people here this weekend, if you haven't noticed. I was blown away, especially the last 2 nights, just seeing how active everything was during the evening. It's not all that common these days to go to a convention and see every single room packed at that time of day. And I guess everyone was just out of their hotel rooms at the same time or something, and it really shows you there's still a lot of activity and enthusiasm. And I think that's a really good reason to look forward to where we go from here.
And like I said in my convention history panel earlier, probably it's not a great comparison to compare the Star Trek cons to the Pony cons, because Star Trek honors all these generations and we only honor the 4th. But because we're starting with the 4th, maybe the future generations at the 4th generation. So if we think of G4 as the Star Trek original series in this new timeline, perhaps G5 will be our next generation, and then G6 will be, it will just continue onward. So there is a potential path for the fandom to take.
Yeah, and really, Trekkies are probably the most structurally similar fandom to Bronies, in the sense that they're really the only 2 single IP multi-generational fandoms out there that have a strong convention
They're the
scene.
only ones in my con history book that I elevate to the same level as a genre con. But thank you very much for your question.
Thank you.
Hey.
Hi.
So I'm from the East Coast, and I know a lot of us over there were pretty sad to see BronyCon leave, just as, now it feels like there's no local con on the East Coast for a lot of us. But what do you think is the possibility or the difficulties of a new PonyCon showing up in these years?
So
there's already been an attempt, and in the same state, Maryland.
Yeah, that's true. So Sequestria Fest is a relatively new event that just had its first event in Ocean City. But I mean, to speak more generally, whenever people ask about starting a con, my advice is usually first, don't. And that's because it takes a lot of work, and if you don't go into it at least probably with a little bit of experience in understanding how these events run, it can cause problems, like we've seen with Unicon or DashCon or other examples of that kind of thing. Is your question about like, restate your question just so I understand.
Are you hoping that what the possibility of an East Coast con, kind of in a similar vein of what Babs and Everfree are, re-emerging on the East Coast?
Yeah.
The issue, that's a tricky one, because I always predicted of the PonyCons to survive, it would be BronyCon because of the solid IP behind it, specifically Pony Focus, because I always predicted cons like Babs, Everfree, and Trot could naturally transition to become Western animation cons, which never happened.
Your big failed prediction.
Yeah, I did. And actually, in fact, I actually want to change face and say different things, because you said don't start cons. The very same people who I would criticize for, founding a lot of these cons with no experience have created some of the best cons out there. So I'm actually going to change my opinion and say, yeah, don't start cons, but that doesn't mean if you have no experience, you're not going to make something fantastic, because a lot of people who started these cons were just fresh out of high school, had no experience, probably never even ran a chess club before, and look at all the fantastic cons that they created and are now being hired by professional industry people.
I would say don't unless you're ready for a whole lot of work and you have a really good network of support from other people who have some experience. Because even things like Everfree, it was a lot of people who were new to it, but we did have quite a bit of support from established conventions in the area.
I think the issue for the East Coast is a lot of the people who are running the Baltimore Con lived in the Mid-Atlantic. They all moved out here to Seattle now. So that's why Everfree is so strong, because it basically took a lot of the staff. For example, I live right now in Orlando, and I've been playing around with the idea maybe there should be a BronyCon in Orlando, but there is no solid base there. I would have to fly everyone out, and it's just inconvenient for that. So I don't know, unless I think it has to organically form from at least a meetup at this point, but because the original meetup group that was supposed to be doing the Mid-Atlantic cons were the group that did the Maryland, D.C. Bronies who did Cloudsdale Congress. But once BronyCon moved there, it completely overshadowed them and they were out of the picture. So now that that group is no longer really as active, I'm not sure what the possibility is. Maybe in the future, but I think the most accurate thing now is like the old sci-fi cons when a bunch of different genres and fandoms met up. The PonyCons on the East Coast are essentially the anime and comic cons that have that one meetup or that one panel specifically for bronies, and I think that's where we'll stay in the future until maybe G5 reinvigorates everything.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much.
Good question.
So there's something I've kind of noticed, particularly in the last couple of years, and I was wondering what your thoughts are and if it's something you've noticed as well, which is, I've been in the fandom since early 2012, so I'm kind of an older brony, but I've noticed there's almost this new generation of people who were like the target demographic when this show was airing, and they're now like, what makes me feel really old to say, but they're now adults, and there seems to be online a lot of like, with like Friday Night Funkin' and stuff, all this focus on, a lot of the classic fandom memes and things that people were nostalgic for. And I guess just what your thoughts are on that kind of nostalgic fuel.
Yeah, a lot of old memes being, like brony memes even being resurrected through TikTok and stuff.
Yeah.
But I love that point you're saying about there's now people that come to these events as fully fledged members of the fan community who were in the target demographic, who... Yeah, literally, think about it. This convention is 10 years old. The show is like, what, 12?
Yeah.
So... 12 years ago, there were children, small children in that demographic who are now adults and
some of them are even married and have their own kids now. That's how crazy. That's how long the fandom has been.
Weird.
Yeah, a 7-year-old in 2010 is an adult today.
Yeah. So it's a weird thing to think about, and we had someone at our panel last year come up and mention that, like, hi, I was in the target demographic, and sort of gave some perspectives on what it was like for them. There's certain things where, like, I've always been somewhat concerned about how the adult fandom impacts the experience of kids who are watching the show, and if there's any negatives to that. I think there probably are some, and so it's about kind of mitigating that. That's always been something that's very important to me. But I think it is an interesting phenomena to see that, like, yes, there are kids that grew up and then realized, oh, there's a whole community around this, and they had a sort of very uniquely immersive experience in that sense, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good thought. Thank you. Hi, B-Pen.
Hi. First, this is your like 2-minute warning.
Yeah, I got you.
And second, what are your thoughts on the evolution of con mascots over the year, and why is Marina the best one?
Ah, good. Two-part question.
It's actually funny because I think we have probably the most experience with this. Not only does Everfree have some fantastic mascots, you were a mascot for BronyCon, and I designed mascots for a bunch of cons, including BabsCon. So
yeah,
that's an interesting perspective there.
So just from my perspective, I know that so BronyCon obviously has their 3 big mascots, and starting in 2015 is when they started having cosplayers actually play them in person. I was Hoofbeats, obviously, and I've always felt that BronyCon had a really, really excellent, just what they did with the mascots in terms of engaging with the people at BronyCon was really, really special. That was probably one of the most rewarding things I've gotten to do in this fandom, was play the role of Hoofbeats and just interact with people, because there would be so many people that would take me aside and like tell me their life story, or tell me how the fandom saved them or brought them out of a really dark place. And they would thank me personally for it, which I'm like, I'm just here for the
character. You were a mascot.
No, but it shows that mascots are a way that help people relate and connect more with conventions than maybe otherwise they might be able to. And that's also why I'm glad that like we've been able to kind of shift more into that BronyCon model of doing things, especially this year with our mascots. We've got some really great people involved in helping with that this year. And I am on the same page as you. I am on Team Marina, so.
I do also want to give a shout out for Babs, because I think Babs really actually was the pioneers of some of this. Now, in retrospect, there's a lot of controversies because I think Babs overworked a lot of their in-person cosplayers and mascots, but they were really interactive. Babs would do skits. They would even basically break into panel rooms and interact with the panelists for a lot of this stuff. If you've ever been to Babs, maybe in retrospect it's a little awkward, but they were fun little opening and closing ceremony skits. And for me personally, I was actually happy because one of the mascots I designed was Silverspan for BabsCon, and I originally knew they were a trans character when I designed them, but back then it would have not been as open to accept a trans character. So finally, years later, I was able to say Silverspan was actually a trans-coded character, and I was happy with the reception. The fandom actually embraced it instead of actually calling it out. So it shows how, I think, great and progressive the fandom has been with just mascots, and how creative we have been. The color coding with the BabsCon and the BronyCon mascots, the different unique takes, like Marina being an orca pony is fantastic. There's so much
think
stuff.
Just a quick anecdote. I know you've probably heard this many times already, but when Marina was being designed, the people designing them were like, we want to find some sort of local like fish or something that lives in Puget Sound. And the way Bunny described it was like, yeah, so we tried doing that. And we looked up a bunch of Puget Sound fish, but the problem is they were all really, really ugly. So we're like, why don't we do an orca instead?
He tells the truth.
I think Marina's a great character. The funny thing, too, is when we did the Sea Pony theme that one year, and then it was right before the G4 movie was going to come out, and we kind of got a letter saying, like, hey, tread lightly. So, yeah, mascots are great. I love them. Yeah, go Team Marina.
All right. Thank you very much. And I think that wraps up our panels. We're very sorry we can't get to any more questions.
Yeah, well, you can come talk to us afterwards.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. Here's to 10 years of Everfree history. Here's to many years of Brony history and many years more. Please enjoy the rest of Everfree Northwest.
Thank you very much. Please support the vendors in the dealers hall and support our other panelists coming up. Thank you very much.